Hello everyone. Welcome back to channel, Nomad Xplores. In today's video, Nomad will do a walking tour in the city of Victoria, the capital of the province of British Columbia, Canada. Nomad's walking tour will pass through places such as the Ogden Point Breakwater Lighthouse, the Memorial of Terry Fox, a cancer activist, the Beacon Hill Park, Fantan Alley, the narrowest business street in Victoria as well as in Canada, and many other interesting places. If you find this video interesting, please click on the subscribe button and share this video so that more people can watch it. Thank you for following channel, Nomad Xplores. Nomad's first stop on the walking tour around Victoria is the Ogden Point Breakwater Lighthouse. The name, Breakwater Lighthouse, comes from the fact that the lighthouse was built on a breakwater, which is a barrier built to protect a harbor or coastline from large waves or strong currents. And as you may know, the purpose of a lighthouse is to guide ships safely into and out of the protected area. Now, Nomad will climb up these stair steps onto the breakwater and walk along the breakwater to the lighthouse. The lighthouse is located at the other end of this breakwater. The location where Nomad is currently standing is located at the Ogden Point, not far from downtown Victoria, specifically the British Columbia Provincial Parliament building, about 30 minutes walk. This is one of the city's tourist attractions. After walking about 800 meters along this breakwater, you will reach the lighthouse, located at the end of it. The history of the construction of this lighthouse is linked to the Panama Canal. The construction of the Panama Canal began in 1881. After its official opening in August 1914, the canal provided a much shorter sea route from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean, promising to significantly increase the number of ships reaching Pacific coastal cities, such as Seattle in the U.S. state of Washington, Vancouver and Victoria in the Canadian province of British Columbia. The city of Victoria wanted to take advantage of the increased shipping traffic by building a port here, but the entrance to the port was exposed to strong southeastern winds. In order for ships to stop, deep water piers needed to be protected from the onslaught of southeastern winds and waves. A harbor engineer was commissioned to survey sites for new piers and breakwaters at the entrance to Victoria Harbor. He proposed two breakwaters, one extending west from the Ogden Point and the other extending east from the Macaulay Point. The Macaulay breakwater was deemed too expensive and ineffective, so it was never built. Therefore, only the Ogden Point breakwater was started in 1914 and completed in 1917. And to guide ships in and out of the area safely, the Ogden Point Lighthouse was also built. Today, the breakwater is a popular walking spot for many Victorians and visitors. The piers welcome more than 430,000 cruise ship visitors each year. After visiting the lighthouse, Nomad walk back, turn right onto Dallas Road, and continue walking along the coast in Victoria. As Nomad mentioned at the beginning of the video, Victoria is the capital, that is, the administrative and political center of the province of British Columbia. Located on the southern tip of Vancouver Island, off the Pacific coast of Canada, the city of Victoria has a population of about 100,000 people, and the Greater Victoria area, that is, the area that includes Victoria and its satellite cities, has a population of over 400,000 people. Named after Queen Victoria of England, the city is one of the oldest cities in the Pacific Northwest, with British settlement beginning in 1843. In front of you now is the Mile Zero Monument. The Mile Zero Monument is the starting point of the Trans-Canada Highway, which is over 8,000 kilometers long, stretching the entire length from the west coast to the east coast of Canada. This monument is marked with a bronze plaque in memory of Al Howie, a supermarathoner, who in 1991 ran the entire length of the Trans-Canada Highway, from Mile Zero in St. John of the province of Newfoundland on the east coast of Canada, to this Mile Zero. He completed the 4,533 mile, or 7,295.5 kilometer journey in a record-breaking time, 72 days, 10 hours, and 23 minutes. The feat was part of his campaign to raise money for Canadian children with special needs, in which he raised $750,000. The Mile Zero area is also home to a statue of Terry Fox. He was an athlete, but lost his right leg to bone cancer when he was 18, and had to wear a prosthetic leg. In 1980, he began running across Canada with his prosthetic leg to raise money for cancer research, starting in Newfoundland on Canada's east coast, and aiming to finish at this Mile Zero monument. Unfortunately, Fox's journey ended midway through when he became seriously ill, and died of cancer after running 5,373 kilometers. Since then, hundreds of millions of dollars have been raised in his name for cancer research. There is also a bronze plaque in the area to commemorate Stephen Fonyo. Like Fox, Fonyo was an athlete who lost his left leg to bone cancer at the age of 12, and had to wear a prosthetic leg. Inspired by his fellow British Columbian Terry Fox, Fonyo ran across Canada in a journey for lives to raise money for cancer research. His incredible 7,924 kilometers run, which began in St. John's on March 31, 1984, ended on May 29, 1985, at this very Mile Zero monument. After leaving the Mile Zero, Nomad crosses the road to enter the Beacon Hill Park. The name Beacon Hill comes from the fact that, in the mid-19th century, employees of the Hudson Bay Company installed 2 lighthouses on the hill to guide ships safely into Victoria's inner harbor. The hill was designated a public park by Governor-General James Douglas in 1858, and officially given to the city of Victoria in 1882. The Beacon Hill Park contains many natural features and sensitive ecosystems, covering approximately 740,000 square meters of parkland. As such, the park is considered the crown jewel of Victoria's park system. A number of environmentally sensitive areas have been identified within the park, and are protected through local, provincial and federal legislation to conserve these threatened and endangered species and ecosystems. One of the highlights of the park is statue, Moss Lady. The sculpture was made from cement, boulders, metal pipes, vinyl-coated wire mesh, and clay. The soil was specially designed to have the right acidic pH level for moss. As you can see, the statue depicts a graceful and serene woman lying on her side, in a small garden filled with trees and flowers. She is 11 meters long, covered with moss, with her arms outstretched, and her face slightly turned upwards. The Moss Girl sculpture is said to symbolize the importance of nature conservation and the beauty of the natural world. The statue also honors the native plants and animals of the area, which are an essential part of the park's ecosystem. After leaving Beacon Hill Park, Nomad continue walking towards Chinatown, located in the central area of Victoria City. You can hear the loud music in this video because there is an outdoor music stage nearby. This Chinatown in Victoria is the oldest Chinatown in Canada and the second oldest in North America, after the one in San Francisco, California, USA. San Francisco's Chinatown was established in 1848 during the California Gold Rush. 10 years later, a wave of miners flocked from California to Victoria, making the area more crowded, and thus forming a Chinatown in this location. If you happen to pass by this area, or any Chinatown in the world, you'll have a good idea of where you are. Victoria's Chinatown is no exception, easily recognizable by its mix of brick buildings, mostly 2 and 3 stories, packed tightly into a 3-block area of downtown Victoria. There are many distinctive alleys and walkways in the neighborhood, and the dominant color is still red, as usual. Victoria's Chinatown is recognized as a National Historic Site of Canada for 3 main reasons. First, it is the oldest surviving Chinatown in Canada. Second, it was the largest urban center of the Chinese community in Canada during the first decade of the 20th century. Third, it is one of the few Chinatowns in North America that has retained a cohesive community with a high heritage value and is notable for its historic buildings. One of the places that attracts tourists to visit and check in, which Nomad will introduce to you right now, is the alley named Fantan. Surely, you'll ask a question right away. What is so special about this alley that attracts tourists? Now, let's go into the alley with Nomad and you'll see. As you can see, this alley is very small. Some parts are so narrow that only 1 or 2 people can pass through. Some parts are a bit wider, but can still only fit 3 people. And this is the special thing about this alley. Fantan Alley is famous for being the narrowest commercial street in North America. At its narrowest point, the alley is less than a meter wide, or 3 feet to be exact. Originally home to gambling dens, opium dens, and other establishments catering to Chinese immigrants during the gold rush, the alley has transformed into a bustling commercial district, with many small shops selling everything from souvenirs and clothing to art and food. After checking in at the narrowest commercial street in North America, Nomad continues walking along the coast towards the city center, where the British Columbia Provincial Parliament building is located. On the way along the coast, Nomad stops at a site, recognized as a National Historic Site of Canada, Fort Victoria. The plaque reads, "The anchor rings on the rocks below are the only remaining fragment of Fort Victoria, built by the Hudson's Bay Company in 1843. From 1846, when the Oregon boundary was drawn at the 49th parallel, this post served as Grand Depot and headquarters of the company's Pacific Fur trade. Ships moored here to unload supplies for an extensive network of forts, and to take on natural products for export, principally to Alaska, California, and Hawaii. In 1849, the first Legislative Assembly of the colony of Vancouver Island met in the fort. The last remaining buildings of Fort Victoria were dismantled in 1864. As you can see, this area is now a marina, seaplane dock, and restaurants serving local residents and tourists. In front of you, across the street, is the British Columbia Provincial Parliament building. It can be said that the area around the Parliament building is the most central, busiest area, with the most entertainment spots in Victoria. The Parliament buildings is a prominent architectural feature of the Inner Harbour, located on a 5-hectare site on the waterfront in the heart of the city. The construction of Parliament buildings began in 1893 and was led by architect Francis Rattenbury. He sought to use local materials, resources, and expertise. After nearly 5 years of construction, the building was officially opened in February 1898. The lawn in front of the Parliament buildings is always open to the public for recreation. It is also a popular gathering place for celebrations and special events, such as Canada Day celebrations or musical performances that attract large audiences. An interesting thing is that, right next to the Parliament building, you will see a horse-drawn carriage service to sightsee the city. Depending on your time, you can choose a 15-minute, 30-minute, or 45-minute tour. And of course, the service fee will also be different. Currently, the price for a 15-minute tour is $85, a 30-minute tour is $165, and a 45-minute tour is $240. These prices are for the whole carriage, which can accommodate up to 6 passengers and include tax. In this downtown area, not far from the Parliament building, there is a ferry terminal for ferry routes that carry passengers between the United States and Canada. The ferry you see in the video is part of the Blackball ferry route. This ferry route carries passengers and vehicles between Victoria and Port Angeles, Washington. This is the most direct ferry route between Victoria and the United States, offering daily, year-round service. This is the area in front of the Parliament building. From here, if you go left, you will come to an entertainment and culinary area called Fisherman's Wharf. Nestled just off Victoria's inner harbor, Fisherman's Wharf is a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. This marine destination is home to delicious food stalls, unique souvenir shops, and exciting eco-tours. This is a water taxi station, where visitors can come and go from Fisherman's Wharf on these distinctive and pretty little yellow boats. East of Fisherman's Wharf, there are mainly float homes. The Port of Victoria has dedicated 33 berths at Fisherman's Wharf specifically for floating residences. Visitors can stroll along the wharf and admire the colorful and unique float homes. It is these houses that make this community so special. Although the float homes are popular attractions, it is important to note that they are also private residences. Therefore, you need to respect the privacy of those who live in them. Interspersed with fishing boats, yachts, residents, float homes, and bustling commercial businesses, this place promises to bring an unforgettable experience to visitors. Also from the area in front of the Parliament building, if you turn right, you will immediately see the main road of Victoria, called Government Street. Part of this road is used as a pedestrian street. Across the street, there is a building that looks like a castle. It is the Fairmont Empress Hotel. The story of this hotel begins in the early 1900s, when the Canadian Pacific Railway had a big dream of building castle-style hotels across Canada to accommodate wealthy customers traveling by train and steamship. These hotels needed to be located in iconic locations, with breathtaking views and diverse Canadian landscapes. Therefore, the construction of this hotel began in 1904, and 4 years later, the hotel officially opened on January 20, 1908. The Empress Hotel was named after Queen Victoria of England, who, during the last decade of her reign, was also the Empress of India. Since then, the city of Victoria has developed around this beautiful hotel, making it the city's social and business center. The hotel was designated a National Historic Site of Canada in 1981 and became the Fairmont Hotel in 1999. As Nomad mentioned a few minutes ago, Government Street is one of the main thoroughfares in Victoria, and part of it is closed off to make a pedestrian street. And this is where that pedestrian street begins. So in today's video, Nomad has introduced to you an overview of the city of Victoria, in the province of British Columbia, Canada. There are many more interesting things about this city, which if you have the opportunity to experience yourself, you will find much more exciting.
It's time for Nomad to say goodbye to everyone. See you again in the next video.